So one of the things that's happening right now, especially with a lot more content being created, a lot more gurus out there like myself, I'll throw myself in there, a lot of folks that are doing more of the talking rather than walking. There's this overcomplication. There's this the overabundance of information that's causing a lot of friction, a lot of noise, a lot of confusion. So what we're going to do today is we're going to simplify our business, specifically our business, in order to amplify. So if we're looking for a little creed or a little slogan to walk away from today we have to simplify our business in order to amplify it, right? So step one in this is I want you to think back to the last 10 transactions that you've had. If you haven't had 10 transactions in ever, that's okay. We're gonna work through it. But I want you to think back through the last 10 transactions that you had. So this is really where I want you to engage. This is really where I want you to plug in and stay tuned, because this is where we're going to actually add value to your business today. So think back to the last 10 transactions that you've had. If you haven't had 10 transactions, the last 3 transactions. If you haven't had 3 transactions, if you're brand new to the game, or if you're about to get started in real estate, just go back to the last 3 conversations that you've had about real estate that even smelled like a transaction, right? So you don't have to actually have the business right now. What we're trying to do, again, is we're trying to make this this talk or this strategy applicable to your business, and everybody is in a different boat. So think back to the last 10 transactions that you've had. If you haven't had 10 transactions, think back to the last 3. If you have never had a transaction, think back to the last 3 conversations that you've had that were so close to at least a transaction, right? So I'm going to give you 2 seconds to do that. Everybody just start thinking back to that. If you had a place that you have some notes down, just start jotting down what they were. Jot down the names, or jot down the addresses, jot down the whatever, right? So just start going down and listing out the last transactions that you've had, or the last conversations. I'll give you 5 more seconds to do that before we continue. So again, as a reminder, the reason that we're doing this is we're looking at scaling our business in our specific way, in our specific situation. So want to make sure that everybody is receiving value from today. So what we're looking to do is we're going to scale what we're already doing, but first we need to understand what we're doing. All right. So once you have that listed out, or once you're close to listing that out, we need to start categorizing. This is when we start categorizing, where did this business come from? All right. So start thinking back. Was this a social media thing? Was this a door knocking deal? Was this a cold calling deal? Was this a YouTube deal? Was this a direct mail deal? Was this a paid ad strategy deal? Right. So start categorizing these. So right now, let's just blanket social media for a second. Let's just blanket paid ads for a second. I know there's Facebook ads. I know there's Instagram ads, Google, YouTube, TikTok, all that. But let's just categorize it for a second. So start thinking back, start seeing where your business is actually coming from. Not where you wish it was coming from, but where the last commission checks actually came from, or where the last conversations that you had. What actually brought you to have those conversations? Was it you going to networking events? Was you directly reaching out to your sphere of influence? Was it texting them, DMing them, calling them? What was that, right? So again, just a quick little recap. Where have your last transactions come from, or the last conversations that at least seem like could go into an actual contract? Where did those come from? The second thing that we're doing today, the second step, is actually categorizing them, identifying where that actually the business came from. And I want you to chat in the chat. I want you to put, if you had multiple sources, go ahead and share the multiple sources. But if you had just one source, was it like your sphere of influence? Was it paid ads? Was it YouTube? Was it whatever? Start putting it in the chat, because I think that's going to be interesting for everybody to see. And more importantly, I think it's going to be more important for you to see it. So we have Shane in the house. We have YouTube, Sphere, Craigslist, Facebook. Awesome. Referrals and video. Awesome. Selena, with video, where did you put that video? Help me out there.
Not that it's magnificent or anything, but just my personal my business page. I would do Instagram, just a couple of reels or just some videos. And then from there, share it to my Facebook business. And then from there, share it to my personal. So it just goes across all three. Awesome. But they're nothing spectacular.
Nobody's judging that. If they put money in your bank account, I would say that is fantastic. I think it's the best video ever made. So you're good to go. You're good to go. Thank you. And referrals, I'm assuming either from past clients or somebody that knew that you're in real estate said, hey, or another real estate agent.
Yeah, I've been really blessed with like people just sending me people or, just I don't ever just go out there and say, hey, I'm a real estate agent, if you need anything, blah, blah, blah. But just making new connections with people, regardless of whatever. Like the other day, I went and dropped off a check at the bank and I was talking to the young lady and she kind of made a comment about the check because, of course, it was a commission check. But I said, well, look, at the end of the day, if you ever need anything from me, because she helped me out so much trying to get certain things rearranged on my account. If you ever need any help from me, here's my card. And I just left it at that. Didn't try to sell her anything. Just here's my card if you ever need any help from me. So.
I dig it. I dig it. Always marketing yourself. I love it. Sphere, YouTube, Instagram, Samantha. Awesome. I like that. Facebook groups, in-person leads. We have Betty with in-person leads and referrals. We have Kim with referrals, Sphere and referrals, Facebook conversation. All right. So that's social media. I like it. More social media, past clients, Zillow, past clients, referral network, family, past clients. So it sounds like that's a Sphere. That's awesome. We have Sphere, Stephanie. Oh, shout out Stephanie. I know where you're getting your business from. We just talked about it yesterday in our strategy call. Past clients, referral, Sphere, networking, Sphere, referral, Google My Business, gas station, Facebook group, referral, and Sphere. Awesome. Thank you. I'm going to make one comment because it's going to be a generalization, but then we're going to go back to your specific business. All right. So again, I'm going to go ahead and call it out so you kind of are able to put it in the box that I want it to be in. The generalization that I wanted to make is a common theme that you saw there as I was reading the comments. You heard referral 99% of the time, and you heard Sphere 99% of the time. Right? So if you go to the chat, you're going to see that happen. Right? So I want you to just kind of put that in the box that it's meant to be. It's not meant to, hey, only work on referrals or hey, only work on your Sphere. It's a big component for most agents, as you saw clearly right there. But I want you to put that in the box. We might come back to it depending on how much time we have. We might come back to that, but I just want you to raise awareness to it. But now as we get back to our specific situation, if you didn't put referral or if you didn't put your Sphere, what we are trying to identify is where is our actual business coming from? Because here's where we really go from doing a million things, what's called busy work, versus something that's going to actually be effective for our business. So if we continue, I'll give you an example. If you continue cold calling, if you continue doing open houses, if you continue doing YouTube as an example, if you do these three strategies, whatever they happen to be, I already forgot what they are, but if you do these three strategies and you're finding that all of your business is coming from a certain lead source, then that should be awareness. That should bring you a little bit more clarity on where you need to amplify, where you need to really become a master of that particular strategy. So one of the things that we need to do is once we have that identified, where's the bulk of our business coming from? Is it our referrals? Is it our Sphere, which is kind of the same? Is it cold calling? Is it Facebook ad? Is it, let's see, what did we have here? Facebook groups, Zillow, social media. We saw a lot of social media here. We saw YouTube here. We saw Craigslist here. So whatever that happens to be for you, whatever strategy that happens to be for you, we need to invest 80% of our time in that particular strategy. The reason being is because we know that it's currently working. We're not into the hopeful, like, hey, it might work in the future. We know that it's working for you right now because we went back to the last 10 transactions, if you've had them, the last 3 transactions that you've had them, or the last 3 conversations that were at least close to a transaction. Because right now, as we get into the real estate market that we're kind of transitioning into, there's going to be some tightening up of budgets across the board, from big companies, from small companies, and everything in between. So what we have to do is we need to be more effective in our business so we can generate more of it, right? So now we need to ask ourselves, where is where's my business coming from? Once we identify that, now is when we start looking at, do I need to invest more time? And this is going to be an answer that you have to answer yourself. Do I need to invest more time in this strategy? So if you're, as an example, if you're generating all of your business through your referrals, a lot of you mentioned referrals. Do I need to spend more time seeking out these referrals? Do I need to pay somebody to help me with everything else so I can spend more time seeking out these referrals? Or do I need to pay somebody to do this actual work of seeking out more referrals? We'll talk about that very lightly, but this is the type of questions that you need to ask yourself so you can free yourself, either you yourself directly to do more of it, or hire some support so they can do more of it and you do the actual revenue generating. I'll give you an example. There's a lot of you that are running some Facebook ads. Is it more effective for you to take every single call, or is it more effective to hire an ISA that will pre-screen these calls and weed out the bad phone numbers, at least have a mini conversation, just an intake form, so then you can have the conversation with actual leads that are not junk leads, if you will. Right? So that's a decision that you have to make for your business. And each one of these strategies, we can go into them in at depth. We saw Google My Business. Does it make sense for you to optimize Google My Business even more, such as getting more reviews from clients? So going back to all your past clients, begging them, bribing them, imploring them to give you more Google reviews, right? What does that look like? Right? So you seeing what's actually worked for your business is a huge, huge value add for your future business, because now you know where your efforts should go. If most of your business is coming from YouTube right now and you're spending 60% of the time doing something else, then we need to adjust that.